This is Dave, and today's big hairy idea is that profits are often a lie. We've been talking all week about the concept of knowing your metrics, knowing what numbers are important in your business, what numbers are important to know in your life. And I was reminded by an email that I received earlier today of a lesson that I heard years ago from a guy named Keith Cunningham at Tony Robbins' Business Mastery course. And he pointed out that profits are a lie. What he meant by that is that there's all kinds of rules and strategies that you go through when filling out accounting documents, when submitting your taxes to the IRS, that don't actually always reflect what is happening day to day in the business. In fact, cash is a far more real, concrete thing than profits, where they're kind of this lofty idea, and you can inflate your profits 1 month or 1 year, and you can bring them down and by all kinds of different tricks. But cash is kind of real. You run out of cash, you're broke. You go bankrupt. But you can have negative profits. Some businesses have negative profits for years and are actually doing great. We sell it with the whole .com, but look at a company like Amazon that was lost money for over a decade every single quarter, and their value just kept going up and up and up because they always had cash, despite the fact that profits were always in the negative until now, until only the last couple of years that they've actually started making money, and then their stock price went up through the roof. So profits and cash are not necessarily the same thing, but as I found today from an email that I received, even cash can be kind of a misnomer. And the email itself was innocuous enough. It was from my bookkeeper just saying that she had a stomach bug and was going to be a little bit late getting me the main numbers. And I told her, you know what, don't worry about that at all. I don't need them at all, especially because the main numbers are going to be a disaster. Not a disaster because they're going to show the business wasn't doing well. A disaster because the main numbers were going to be completely and totally inaccurate. Why were they inaccurate? One order kind of really messed up the whole thing. It happened to be my biggest order for the month of May, and it's an order I felt really blessed to receive. But it was a little unusual in that it was somebody who didn't want the delivery to come until late June, but he was concerned that the products were going to go out of stock. So he placed the order with us in May, so that he can guarantee that, okay, a certain amount we're going to be set aside for him. But the relationship we have with the manufacturer is that they only bill us when the products go out the door of their warehouse. So we placed the order, and they set them aside for the customer like they asked, but they didn't ship them until mid-June. So they didn't bill us for them until mid-June. So we had the biggest order from the month. We had all the money from it, but we weren't actually billed for it yet. So if you look at the May numbers, it looks like our sales were incredibly high relative to the cost of products that we had to buy to fill those orders. And then if you look at the June numbers, it's going to look the opposite. It's like, wow, the cost to fill the orders were really, really high relative to the amount of products that were sold. And over time, we're going to have to kind of balance out those numbers. But it just kind of helped me reinforce this idea, like, it's not enough to keep track of all these numbers. Like, all the numbers on the May spreadsheet that I'm going to get are going to be accurate. They're going to be exactly reporting what happened in May. But they're only really accurate if I understood the story behind them, if I understood what each number really represented, and the fact that actually I'm going to wind up paying in June for the order that I took in May, and then I need to ultimately go and kind of cross those two out, and maybe go, after June's over and early July, we'll go and we'll correct them. So we'll bring the June cost of goods sold number down and raise the May cost of goods sold number proportionally, so that they actually kind of reflect reality a bit more. But it's just important. It's making me think about, okay, I need to know what numbers really, really mean in order to use them to make intelligent decisions in my business and in my life. And so I want to leave you with that thought. Are there any numbers that might not be fully accurately really describing the reality that's going on? If so, how can you tweak them, or at least make notes to yourself to say, you know what, it's good to kind of see an indication of this, but it's not, I shouldn't really take it as fact. It's kind of like, at the end of a day like Yom Kippur, which is a fast day in the Jewish calendar. So you might come out of the fast day, you might get on a scale if you're into that, if you're checking your weight and say, wow, I lost all this weight. And the next morning you get up and you drink a tremendous amount because you're completely dehydrated, and the weight comes right back. So you have to understand, it's not just a number, but it's what the number means that is really important to bear in mind.